Welcome back to the IT Fundamentals podcast and training series. I am your host, Mark Haupt, and today we're going to talk about why we disappeared off the map for a couple of weeks. Join us to learn what's next. Welcome to the IT Fundamentals Training Series. I'm your host, Mark Haupt. And today we're not going to talk about technology. We're going to talk about what's next with what we're doing here. So first and foremost, let me be very clear. We're going to continue with the ITF Fundamentals training. We're going to continue doing that. We're going to continue teaching that. We're going to make sure that you have the information that you have available. However, we're trying to read the tea leaves a little bit on a couple of different perspectives. One is we're trying to understand how you are consuming this product and how beneficial the product is to you. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. And then secondly, we're going to talk about some changes that are going to be occurring little by little over the next couple of weeks, up through a month or so. So let's talk about those changes first, and then we'll come back on how you're consuming the product, and that kind of plays into some of the changes as well. So first of all, some of the changes that are going to be occurring. I have a very smart and brilliant podcast producer, or social media producer, I should say, not just a podcast producer, but a social media producer that is helping me through this effort. Now, in my wonderful wisdom, I didn't listen to him. I listened to what I thought I needed to do to make this podcast, to make this output energetic and entertaining. And I think that we have done so, and more leaning towards informative, but it has not garnered the views or the attention, if you will, that 40 some odd podcasts should gain. So my guess is I have about 3 people that are watching this, maybe 4 people that are watching this on any given basis. Only one of you has reached out to me during this absence of podcasts and said, "Hey, where are you going? My daily feed is gone." So that's a little bit concerning. Now, I do realize that these kinds of things take time to build, and these take efforts to build. You need to understand that in producing this, it's probably, even for a 15-minute episode, probably about an hour's worth of time on my part and on that of the social media producer's time. So there is an effort that we do to put into this. And so we would, when I appeal to you, I want to hear back from you. I definitely want to do that. So in what we're looking at right now is we're looking at finding a way to consolidate some of the time that we spend putting this together. And so one of the changes that's going to occur is that we're not going to release podcasts on a daily basis. My advisor in the podcast social media world tells me that is too frequent and burns people out. So what we're going to do is we're going to move to a 3-day or 3 per week type of episode scenario. So thrice weekly, to be exact. We're going to release the same kind of content, the same thought process, but we're only going to do it 3 times a week so we don't burn people out and we don't overburden people. And that burn people out and overburden people goes on both sides. It goes on the receiver side as well as the production side of things. So that's going to be one change that's coming that you're going to see starting this week. So with this episode, you're going to see an additional 2 episodes this week and not 3. So that helps us out, and we're going to focus a little bit more on the content as we move forward as well. So what I had been doing in the past is I've just been going through the book, identifying what's in the book, what you need to pay attention to, what's important. And we're still going to do that because I understand that for a vast majority of you, the intent here is to take the IT fundamentals test and pass that test. So what you need to hear from me is what you need to focus on, and then what you just need to simply skim over and and have a concept of, and you're going to get that. But we're also looking at trying to expand the audience a little bit into folks who may not want to take the test. They just want to learn a little bit more about a particular subject. So what we're going to do in these thrice weekly segments is we're going to very clearly announce what the subject is as part of the title and as part of the introduction. We're going to identify where it is in the book. We're going to kind of have a teaching segment, if you will, a real teaching segment, overview, making sure that you get the content that's in the book, but also having a little bit more practical content available as well. So in reality, what's going to happen is that we're going to try and make this a richer podcast, meaning we're going to reduce the quantity and expand the quality. Now, that's going to take some time and effort to do. It's going to take some time to build up and move into that. And part of that is hearing from you and understanding what you need to know and what you desire. Now, again, I hear from essentially one person that listens to this, and I very much appreciate JD for responding and providing feedback. Part of what we are doing here as a result of hearing from people like JD. Now, I know that there's more of you out there, or there should be more of you out there, hopefully, because I have scholarshiped books and sent them to your homes. And I have heard through the grapevine that sometimes you listen and follow through, but the statistics are not showing that people are sticking around for a 5-day, 5 times a week type of environment. So we're moving to the thrice weekly scenario. And we'll reevaluate that as we go through. We're typically going to launch out on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. That will be our drop dates. So you can have one at the beginning of the week, the end of the week, and then right smack in the middle. And of course, being the way that we do these podcasts, you can listen to them anytime. The other thing that we're going to do in this is we're going to move to some, we're already on YouTube and we're building that content. I know that some of you just listen to this in the car, but what we're going to also do as part of the enrichment of the experience is I'm also going to try and develop some presentation materials along with the content that I deliver. So we're going to start looking at probably producing a PowerPoint, creating that into a PDF that even if you are just listening to it, you could always download it later. Now, what that's going to look like is also going to depend largely upon time and effort and being able to hear back from you as to what's working and what's not. One of my concerns was, and the reason for going this direction, is that some of the figures and some of the pictures that are in the book are outdated from current technology. And so this will allow us to take a look, perhaps take a look at pictures or other content from more modern view of things, if you will. Because again, the book is written in 2018, probably due for an update, probably will have an update come out in 24 or 25. But the fundamentals don't change too much. The actual fundamentals themselves don't change too much, but the advancement in technology itself, the visual aspect of it does change quite frequently. All right, another thing that's going to be changing is that we have been talking previously about how we're sponsored by, or that we're producing this for, I should say. We're sponsored by Common Sense Security, Third Wire Technologies, and we're producing it in part with Lincoln Christian Institute. The part that will not change is the Lincoln Christian Institute part. I really hope and pray that at some point churches will utilize this to further their message and be able to learn more about how to use technology. That part won't change. But what will change is the branding or the marketing, if you will, of Third Wire Technologies, Common Sense Security tagline, so on and so forth. The reason for that is because Common Sense Security really needs to be the focus of what we're doing here. Our goal, as I told you from the very beginning, is to build you from a zero knowledge technology person up through security and landing on Security Plus as our final effort, if you will, with these books. And that's really my goal here with Common Sense Security, is to be able to replicate and put new security professionals into the environment, into our world, because right now the job market says we're down 600, 700,000 positions in the field, and it's a great space for people to get into. But what I fear is that people go to college and they don't get the practical and they don't get the real learning that's necessary in order to be a security professional. So through this method, I'm hoping to bring up security professionals in that effort. So we're going to rebrand it as Common Sense Security. So you're going to see a lot of that type of thing. You're going to hear us talking about that. And again, this is a co-effort with Lincoln Christian Institute, although you may not see those logos and may not hear too much of that going forward. All right, so that's what's happening. This is the first recording that we're going to drop. And like I said, those are some subtle changes. We're going to be doing more. Now, I also mentioned that I didn't listen to the professional that is the podcast producer, the social media professional that I have hired to help me with this. And I'm going to start listening to him. So one of the things I didn't listen to is I said, absolutely don't need to do Instagram. We don't just need to put pictures up there. And admittedly, I was wrong. And we're going to go the Instagram route. We're going to take a look at how perhaps we can gain some additional followers through Instagram. But on the flip side of that, he also suggested and was pretty clear that we don't need to be on Apple Podcasts or even on Spotify type of scenario, because a lot of these podcasts are moving towards a visual type of scenario with an Instagram, launching it through Twitter, launching it through or X, I guess they call it now, things like that, with the main recording being up on YouTube. So we are going to focus our primary platform on YouTube, and that this conversation will be a visual conversation. Now, that does not mean that you cannot utilize this in your car. Of course, you can just listen to it, but there will be content that is going to be visual, and there will be more and more of it as we move forward. I will try my best to be able to balance both sides, because I know that especially if you're transitioning in your career, people are busy. They want to be able to listen to these things in the car as they've got a 40-50 minute commute or whatnot, and be able to educate themselves a little bit. And so we're going to continue to do that. We're going to do it through YouTube, and we're going to allow for the visual aspect as well, other than just me on the screen. So you're going to see PowerPoint presentations, you're going to see things like that. And up on Instagram, you're going to see little clips that come from this conversation. The purpose of that is to draw more people in, attract more people into our efforts here. And just in general, we're maturing. So here's my wise piece of advice for you. If you hire a professional to do something, listen to them and pay attention to what they have to say, because we might be a little bit farther down the road had I done that. All right. So those are some changes that are coming. Thanks for joining me on this little reintroduction video today. I'm back. We're back. See you on Wednesday. This is Monday, so we'll see you on Wednesday with an actual technology recording. But here we go. Back at it again. I love to hear from you. And so reach out to me at mhaupt, MHOUPT, at commonsensesecurity.net, so we can have a conversation about what we can do as we continue to change to enhance this product for you. Thanks much. Out of here.